Have you ever wondered why we have uppercase and lowercase letters? Or why the letters you're reading right now look the way they do? The answer lies in a fascinating journey that spans nearly 2,000 years, from the monumental inscriptions of ancient Rome to the printing press of Gutenberg. Welcome back to Paleography, the science of ancient writing. In our first video, we explored the materials of ancient books: parchment, ink, and quills. Today, we're going deeper. We're going to trace how the very shapes of our letters evolved. We'll be focusing on European paleography, the development of Latin script in the Western world. Where did the Latin alphabet come from in the first place? That's a story for another video. Today, we're starting with the Romans. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll never look at the alphabet the same way again. The story begins in ancient Rome. And here's where we need to understand an important distinction. When Romans wanted to carve important messages into stone, laws, dedications, triumphs, they used what we call Capitalis Monumentalis. These are the tall, imposing letters you still see on monuments today. The famous inscription on Trajan's column is considered one of the finest examples ever created. This is the domain of epigraphy, the study of inscriptions on hard materials like stone and metal. But what about books and documents written on papyrus or parchment? That's where paleography comes in. And here, Romans had two different scripts existing side by side. The first was Capitalis Quadrata, square capitals. These elegant letters were modeled after the monumental inscriptions, designed to fit into a square. They were beautiful but slow to write, reserved for the most luxurious manuscripts. Very few examples survive, fragments of Virgil's poetry, for instance. The second was Capitalis Rustica, rustic capitals. The letters are narrower, more compressed with shorter horizontal strokes. It was faster to write and saved space on expensive parchment. This was the workhorse script for most Roman books. All three were majuscule scripts, from the Latin maiusculus, meaning somewhat larger, all capitals, all the same height. The oldest surviving example of independent Latin writing is the Praeneste Fibula, the brooch of Palestrina, a golden brooch from around 600 BC. And here's something fascinating. It was written from right to left, just like some ancient scripts. It wasn't until the 4th century BC that left to right writing became standard. Now, as Christianity spread across the Roman Empire in the 3rd and 4th centuries, something important happened. The demand for religious texts exploded. Churches needed Bibles, psalters, and liturgical books, and they needed them fast. This is when Uncial script emerged. Uncial, the name probably comes from the Latin word for inch, referring to the size of the letters, represented a major shift. The letters became rounder, easier to write with a quill on parchment. Look at the letters A, D, E, and M in Uncial script. They're starting to look different from the sharp, angular Roman capitals. Uncial was the book script of early Christianity. The famous Codex Amiatinus, one of the oldest surviving complete Latin Bibles, was written in a beautiful uncial script in the early 8th century. But uncial was still majuscule. All letters the same height, sitting between two lines. The real revolution started with everyday handwriting, what Romans used for letters, notes, and accounts. First came the Old Roman cursive from the 1st to 3rd century. It was essentially capital letters written quickly, simplified and connected, but still recognizable as capitals. Then, from the 3rd century onward, this evolved into the New Roman cursive. The letters changed dramatically. Some became almost unrecognizable from their capital forms. And here's the crucial point. From this messy, practical cursive, something beautiful emerged, the ancestor of our lowercase letters. By the 3rd century, we see Half-Uncial or Semi-Uncial developing. This mixed script combined rounded uncial forms with elements from cursive. Some letters extended above the baseline, others dropped below it. For the first time, we had what paleographers call a 4-line system, with ascenders going up and descenders going down. When the Roman Empire collapsed in the West, something strange happened to writing. Instead of one unified system, different regions developed their own distinctive scripts. Paleographers call these the national scripts, though that's a bit of a misnomer since they weren't created by nations but evolved from Roman cursive in different monasteries and chanceries. In France, we had Merovingian script, used from the 7th to 9th century. It's notoriously difficult to read, full of looping ligatures that look like tangled yarn. All of Charlemagne's official documents were written in Merovingian script. In Spain, Visigothic script dominated from the 7th to 12th century, influenced by Arabic calligraphy due to the Moorish presence in Iberia. In Italy, several regional scripts competed. Lombardic script in the north, Beneventan script in the south. This one developed at the famous monastery of Monte Cassino and is actually quite beautiful, with careful calligraphic execution. Interestingly, it's the only national script that wasn't replaced by the next major development. It survived alongside it until Gothic finally took over. And on the British Isles, something unique developed. Irish monks, who had received Christianity from Rome, transformed the Half-Uncial they learned into Insular script. The famous Book of Kells, with its incredibly intricate decoration, is written in Irish majuscule. This script then traveled to Anglo-Saxon England, influencing the development of English writing for centuries. But the chaos of competing scripts created a real problem. Imagine trying to run an empire when every region writes differently. Documents from one province could barely be read in another. This brings us to one of the most important moments in the history of writing, the Carolingian Renaissance. Around 800 AD, during the reign of Charlemagne, scholars at his court, particularly the English monk Alcuin of York, developed a new standardized script. It's called Carolingian Minuscule, and it changed everything. Carolingian Minuscule was clear, readable, and efficient. It had consistent letter forms. It used both capital and lowercase letters systematically. It minimized abbreviations and ligatures. It was designed, quite literally, to be readable by anyone educated in Latin anywhere in Europe. Look at a Carolingian manuscript and you'll be amazed how modern it looks. The letters are round and open. The spacing is generous. You can almost read it without training. This script spread from France across almost all of Western Europe within a century. It became the standard book script from the 8th to the 12th century, hundreds of years of dominance. And here's the twist. When Renaissance scholars in the 15th century wanted to return to ancient forms of writing, they looked at Carolingian manuscripts and thought they were looking at ancient Roman books. They called this elegant script littera antiqua, the ancient letter. It became the model for the first Roman typefaces and eventually for the fonts you're reading today. But between Carolingian Minuscule and the Renaissance, there was another major transformation: Gothic script. Starting in the 11th and 12th centuries, Carolingian Minuscule began to change. The curves became angles. The letters grew narrower and more compressed. This is Gothic script, also called Blackletter. It's the dramatic, dense, angular writing you see in medieval illuminated manuscripts. Why did writing change? Parchment was expensive, so scribes compressed their letters. Aesthetic tastes changed. Gothic architecture was rising with its pointed arches, and writing followed suit. Gothic dominated from the 12th to the 15th century, and in Germany, it persisted until the 20th century. So, to wrap up our journey through the evolution of writing, from Roman capitals carved in stone to uncial spreading Christianity across Europe, through the chaos of national scripts, to the clarity of Carolingian Minuscule, to the dramatic angles of Gothic, each transformation was shaped by materials, technology, culture, and practical needs. The letters you're looking at right now carry this entire history within them. Every curve and stroke is a fossil of decisions made by scribes over 2,000 years. If you enjoyed this journey through the evolution of writing, please give this video a like. It really helps more history lovers find it. And if you want to explore more secrets of ancient writing with me, hit that subscribe button. Drop me a comment below. Let me know what you enjoyed most and what you'd like to see in future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.